Ladies and gentlemen, Tuner here. Very glad to be back on the channel. Last week we took a little bit of a hiatus because there really wasn't a lot to talk about. And then all of a sudden this week we've got a ton to talk about. So let's just go ahead and dig into the news. So first of all, we got the drafts out this week, and this time we do have a summary from the typical folks at DBS Hype. And I think they rebranded, so let me get their new name real quick here just so I can give proper credit. Yep, okay, never mind. It is still DBS Hype. I thought they rebranded, but no, it's still DBS Hype. Alright, so we got the draft pages here, and let's just go ahead and go over their summary. The chapter begins with the West City Police watching something in a computer, with one of the cops saying this is footage from one of their security cameras. Krillin leaves the movie theater with his family, and Marron notices that the rain has stopped. Meanwhile, Krillin notices Gohan's key and wonders if he's fighting. And the biggest thing here is that Marron is an adult now, so that's a pretty big deal. It's always cool to see the characters growing up. Well, not necessarily an adult, she's a teenager, but it's still cool to see an older Marron. He then receives an emergency call from one of the police officers saying that they have finally discovered the location of the Red Ribbon Army's headquarters. She says it's near a lake that they had been monitoring, and Krillin realizes that's where Gohan's key is coming from. He says that he has a bad feeling about this and asks her to evacuate all the civilians that live there, saying that he's going there alone to see what's happening. 18 asks where he's going, and he says it's an emergency from work. She's not convinced and asks who that woman was that he was talking to. Krillin tells her that she's his boss, Officer Nuts, but 18 says this is all too suspicious and that she's going along. Krillin replies that he even prefers it that way, and cuts to Gohan, heading towards Gamma 1. He lands a very strong punch on the android's hand, causing him to fall to the ground. He prepares to save Pan, but Gamma stands up again, saying that the fight is not over yet. So this is just a look at the first drafts that they normally release before the chapter releases. So this isn't even the full chapter summary. But what does this mean? Well, there's a few things that we can surmise from this. We're pretty close to the part in the movie where they all show up after the fight with the Gammas, Orange Piccolo and all that. So I think at this chapter it's possible that we get Orange Piccolo, and we might stop at that. Or we may even stop after the fight with the Gammas, whenever the rest of the gang shows up, like Goten, Trunks, and things like that. The likelihood of that happening, though, is slim, but I do still think it's possible. Alrighty then, that does it for the manga chapter summary. Well, not the manga chapter summary, the draft summary. Like I said, we're still in the recap saga, and that's really the draft, so are you excited that we're getting some new content in the form of Teenage Marron and figuring out why and how Krillin and 18 end up in the fight? We also got answers as to how Goten and Trunks ended up there. I think in the movie, Goten and Trunks just wound up at the battle area along with Bulma whenever she brought Krillin and 18 with her. So for this, what we're probably going to see is Bulma, 18, and Krillin show up, and then Trunks and Goten. If they do make a difference in this manga, they'll show up as X1 and X2, and we're going to see Gotenks possibly. That's just a theory. Well, we got Gotenks in the movie, but maybe we'll get like the Gotenks that we wanted to see. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Alright, and moving on to the final story of the day. Like I said, it's been a light news week, but we did get a little bit of news. The new trailer for the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot 23rd World Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi tournament has finally been released, and a lot of people are saying they're disappointed in the appearance of the trailer. They're disappointed with the features. It doesn't seem like a full feature-length DLC. Again, this trailer was titled Ground Battle Trailer, so it's possible that it's not going to be a trailer with a full overview of all the features in the next DLC, just one of the features, which is a full-fledged ground battle mode. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, are we really going to ground battle modes? What about the aerial combat that I loved so much in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, that Dragon Ball Z games are known for? Well, this next DLC is OG Dragon Ball based, and in OG Dragon Ball, they used to fight on the ground. Yeah, I know if you're a big Dragon Ball Z fan or you've never seen Dragon Ball, you're probably wondering to yourself, what's so cool about fighting on the ground? Well, that's a good chance to really get into the technical martial arts of it all. You know, when you're flying and you're dodging attacks, you're flying all over in every direction, it's really hard to get your feet planted on the ground to get those really cool moments. So, like, for example, in the anime, whenever Vegeta and Goku are fighting on the ground, you get a cool moment where they trip each other. You wouldn't get that whenever they're flying, and it's just small martial arts stuff like that that makes grounded combat really cool. Don't get me wrong, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super will always have a special place in my heart, and I definitely appreciate the aerial combat, but OG Dragon Ball has so many great grounded combat moments, so it's cool we're getting that in this trailer, which is showing that off to us. I'm sure that the game's DLC for the 23rd World Tenkaichi Budokai, or Budokai Tenkaichi, I forgot, which way do you say it? Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fun, and hopefully there will be more content than just the tournament itself. You know, maybe you can play as Goku training for the tournament around the island, or Piccolo. We did get confirmation that we'll be playing as Tien, at least fighting Mercenary Tao, so we'll have to see how that turns out. Anyways, will you be playing this DLC? For me personally, I'm definitely going to be checking it out. And that will do it for today's video. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you in the next one, which should be relatively soon. Probably next week. It depends on the news week, but I definitely will be covering the next chapter. Anyways, be peace. Have fun, live long, and prosper.